That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about episode 4 of 9 Perfect Strangers, which is called Brave New World. Probably a reference to Aldous Huxley's sci-fi novel with the drugs that are involved in this episode. It airs on Hulu August 25th, 2021.
Oh, this miniseries. I feel like there's no story. It's just a series of things happening that we're supposed to string together, I guess.
We're stretching it out. It's just a long...
Okay, the episode 4 opens with the flashback to Masha being shot. And all I could think... Sorry,
I'm laughing. When she got killed.
Shooting is not funny. She's in a parking lot, underground parking lot, walking to her car, and we get sort of an extended moment of her talking on the phone, talking about how she's gonna fuck someone's brains out or something.
Well, first she's being nasty to somebody, I want this in my email if I am, and then calling somebody she's about to have sex with and trying to be,
I guess, sexy. But the reason I bring it up is because we get a lot of her talking, and it's she does not sound Russian. She sounds like Celine Dion.
I want you to make me martini and then I fuck your brains out. Yeah.
Anyway, so then we go back to where episode 3 left off, which is at this dinner celebration where they're eating the goat, and that's when Masha is confronted with the idea of are you, because episode 3 ends with "Are you drugging us?" So episode 4 she answers and says, "Yes, I've been microdosing you with shrooms basically, and other psychedelic drugs like MDMA and
based on problems they're having,
based on your medical record and your blood work, I'm drugging you,"
which is so lame.
We also find out that Lars, Luke Evans' character, is an investigative reporter.
Not a surprise,
But she invites it because she says, yes, I'm going to make a ton, my research and microdosing. We'll get to it, but...
And you'll win a Pulitzer for your...
Yeah, she's write the story because when this gets out, it's going to be a big deal. And yes, I'm going to make a ton of money, but you'll probably win a Pulitzer. Then we see Heather, who is Michael Shannon's wife, who for the first 2 episodes, she's very sort of grief-stricken and unhappy. And then episode 3 is where, obviously, they had started to be drugged. So she seems happier. And in episode 4, it's she made a 180. Mm-hmm. She's optimistic, Sounds of Blackness. She's very... So she's made a turnaround. And then we get more smoothies. And that's when everyone is sort of wanting to... they're embracing the drugs. Because at the dinner, they're kind of open to it, no one leaves. So the next morning, it's clear that they all want to be on these drugs because they feel better. Also at breakfast, we get another scene similar to the dinner scene with Napoleon wanting to get up and talk. And he talks about how he's against drugs because he's a school teacher. But also he was suffering from emotional constipation. So he feels he's been able to shit some of that out. So he's kind of on board with... the microdosing. This is also the episode where Carmel gets her meeting with Masha, and they talk about her issues, which revolve around her emotionally abusive husband leaving her for a better woman, younger, more attractive, sweet, whatever. Then there's a scene, again, I feel there's no story, it's just different scenes. Then we move on to a steam room. It's a igloo that's a steam room. And we first find Zoe and Lars in there, and they're talking. Their conversation really didn't illuminate anything, did it?
No, just that these two are having a connection, I find.
Then there's a scene back in that big meeting room where they have the outfit of a kendo, martial arts fighter outfit type thing, and Masha is encouraging them to take out their anger on it. So 4 episodes in, I think the first scene that I thought actually kind of worked for me was this scene. Because first is Frances, Melissa McCarthy's character, and Masha says, go up there and release your anger on this. So she's holding a wooden sword. And Frances is reluctant. But then
jokes her way through it first.
She tries to joke, and Masha's don't do that. Take it seriously. And all of a sudden, within the outfit, she sees her ex's face, and then she just goes off on it.
Well, the man that swindled her.
The man who swindled her. Then Carmel is next. And in Carmel's meeting with Masha, towards the end of their little session, Masha said, "Oh, we need to write down all the awful things your husband said to you, because we're going to use this later, obviously." So Carmel, it's her turn to attack the kendo doll, and she's timid. And that's when Delilah and Masha start reading all the mean things her ex said to her. And she tears that doll up. And I thought that it's a little over the top, but I think so far this was the first scene where I thought, okay, well, something's happening.
But then that triggers Tony, Bobby Cannavale.
Oh, so then
and
Tony...
then we learn his secret, which is he killed somebody in a bar fight, and it got buried because it was before social media.
Can we talk about that? Because I just... Hopefully we'll get more, but I don't think we will. So he relays the story to Francis, and of course Francis's first question was like, "So did you go to jail, or like how'd you get out of that?" And he basically says, "Oh no, and like no one cared, and it was before social media." What? You killed a man in a bar fight? Like, how did you not like at least get arrested and go to trial and get, you know, like acquitted for self-defense or something? It just, but that background explains why Tony is so resistant to like confrontation, and I think that's boring. But even before that happens, Jessica and Yao have an exchange, because Jessica, in the beginning of the episode when Masha admits she's microdosing everyone, she tells Jessica and Ben that they're not being drugged yet. So they're kind of disappointed, like, well, why not? She is more than he is, but like, why not? Like why not? And she really wants to be drugged because she wants something to happen. So there's a scene where which I thought was so awkward, like talking to Yao, like about relationships.
Because Yao is having sex with Masha, but he's technically with Delilah, which that whole triptych does not work.
This feels like a boring soap opera.
This feels like the art house version of Saw.
And you say that because
each one of them's like, we learned that they did something terrible. Or they're like the Bobby Cannavale, like, you let a man die in a bar. Now, would you like to play a game?
Then there's a scene towards the end where Delilah confronts Masha because Delilah finds out inadvertently that Masha has decided to up everyone's doses. And Delilah is like, you have to consult me first. Which, like, this story is not explaining who these people are. Like, Delilah just seems like she was working at Old Navy and then got plucked to work on this retreat, but now she's like acting like she's a pharmacist. I'm just confused. Like, what are her qualifications with any of this?
Well, none of them.
And then we also find out Delilah's bipolar and she's also being microdosed. But Masha finds out that she's not drinking her smoothies and tells her, like, it's part of your employment, conditions of employment, that you keep your bipolarism, I think she says, under control. So that was weird.
Which, you know, now that you say that, does sound like a very Russian thing to do, is do this kind of experiment thing that no one's qualified for and is just destined to, you know, go up in flames at any minute.
The episode ends with Masha is aware that she's being watched and threatened, and she says it. Like, her and Yao have sex in the beginning of the episode, and like she's sitting there naked on the bed, like, someone's watching us, I know it. Taking zero precautions. There's no security. We don't ever see her looking at cameras, or at least making sure that she's not walking to her room alone at night, because the way it's filmed, it looks like their suites are kind of far apart.
She's watching the clients
in their rooms, but like, it's like, if she knows she's being threatened and watched, like, I don't understand why she's not being more careful. But anyway, the end of the episode is Masha walking back to her suite, and she sees her doors open. And like, there's broken shit on the floor, and someone has left a note on a wall that reads, "It's good to die." The end.
The new James Bond film.
How are you feeling about, like, so we've finished half the series.
Again, Nicole Kidman, I do really like watching her. That's really the only modest pleasure that I've gotten from
I don't dislike Melissa McCarthy. I just think that her, like, brand of humor, which is generally like her being like kind of snarky and
over the top,
I mean, she's not as over the top as I'm used to her being, but it's, you know, the other thing too is like, maybe she's miscast, because I feel like this successful writer who's sort of, She has a scene in episode 2 where she talks about like she won't get in the water because of all the like the body work she's done, and it's like, but you don't look like. I feel like it needed to be a more like traditionally attractive woman who's more put together, like more fit, because that's how her character acts. Like she's too this and that to do anything, and she just wants to luxuriate and drink her dinner. I just picture a woman who's a little more fierce playing that role. So then watching Melissa McCarthy do it's kind of laughable. Like, girl.
I think there are some casting issues with this. Obviously, with Nicole Kidman playing, I guess she's Russian. I don't know. We're halfway through. I guess to find out. But I think really it is the writing and the superficial characterizations, because these are all like templates of people and problems. Without like now 4 episodes in, like Samara Weaving and what's his name as Jessica and Ben, like there's really no characterization there. Like it's like certain of them have halted and paused, and while we do this stretched out long form storytelling, and I think we really need to have some condensed, efficient ways to get all this across, which is possible.
It is. It was in this episode I realized that Samara Weaving has really big teeth.
Yeah, she does. Like
really big teeth.
Well,
it doesn't help that she's like 100 pounds.
My reference to Denise Richards for her was, I think, mouth related, but which nothing wrong with that. She's beautiful. I think the problem is I want to know what dish they made out of that goat. Was it a vindaloo?
I mean, that'd be more interesting at this point,
right?
Oh well, I wanted to end with this so far. Like I know it's based on a book, and I didn't read the book, but so far. This feels like, and this is the same thought I had about Big Little Lies, is it just feels like someone who's kind of out of touch with like normal life thinking that this is like scandalous. Because Big Little Lies, if you boil it down, is just a story about some rich ladies who are sort of covering up the death of one of their husbands who was like abusive and like a shitty guy. But they're making it seem like it's this like, super like thrillerish and it's not. It's just like she pushes ass down, like inadvertently pushes ass down a flight of stairs, and y'all are just not saying anything. And this feels like, oh, they're at a wellness center and the big secret is that she's like giving people shrooms so far, but it's just like we're halfway through and this is what you think is someone like me
stirring the pot.
That's nothing. People do that during lunch. Like that's nothing, you know, like. And then the problems these people are having don't seem like that like
exceptional.
Nothing about it's extraordinary. You haven't been watching our videos, but every time you cough, I put up the COVID.
No, virus. I know.
Oh. Anything else?
No.
Bye.
Bye.